Hi, Matt here. Today I just wanted to talk little bit about emotional control, um, controlling our emotions, and what I think is works the best for someone who wants to control their emotions better. And um, something's updating there, but what what works in terms of keeping yourself happy and motivated and not overwhelmed, so that there's not something going on in your emotional nervous system that basically your hypothalamus, something like that, isn't going off and starting to take over. You want that to be a bit inhibited. But obviously, that happening at any level isn't necessarily bad. You just don't want it to get out of control. You also don't want your cortisol levels to get very high. So, I don't know if I'm an expert on any of that, and I'm probably not, but I want to give my. uh, I do want to give my tips, what I would recommend, because I've meditated a lot and I think I have very good control of my emotions, for someone who's 26 years old. So my first recommendation is, when something's happening to you that is stressing you out, or is a complex problem that's a bit overwhelming for you, is to watch that um, problem. Watch what's happening outside of you, but more importantly, watch what's happening inside of you. Watch the circuitry, what's going on with your nerves, or what's going on with your head, what's going on with your body, what you're feeling, and just sort of the feelings that you're getting. If you feel that, there's some sort of pulsation or nausea going on, then obviously I'm sure you'll agree that that's a bad sign. You don't want to be, physically affected to the point where you're sort of losing control, which basically is what can happen if you start to worry about something excessively. And basically, when your mental systems are saying this is something that's happening, and or it's saying this is not right, that's not supposed to be happening. Well, what's going to happen when you have things under control? You have things under control. In other words, all I'm saying is, a lot of the time we're in a situation where we mentally are able to, sort of be inhibited, not get mad at things, and we're satiated, we're comfortable with the situation. We're not going to be freaking out. And so your mind isn't going to be freaking out, isn't going to be like spiraling out of control. It's not going to be jumping up and down because of something happening. But of course, this isn't always the case. There's a lot of things that happen every day. Probably, I would say, about once a day, at least, for everyone, where they start getting worried about something or concerned about it. I've certainly had days where that wasn't the case very much, but I mean, it doesn't take much, yeah, it probably does happen just about every day, even for me, unless I meditate every day, or pretty consistently, and I just have a great day. I mean, that can happen. Sure, I'm not, but most of the time, most days, I have moments where something happens and it's a little worrying and it's a little concerning, gets you thinking, like, how do I put this back in order? How do I fix this problem? Which is what you should think. Well, yeah, that's actually a great thing. Realize you have more control than you think, and probably one of the things you should be doing is trying to fix the problem. you got to fix the problem that you're dealing with and make things right, and just do whatever you can, because you don't want your subconscious to be in a situation where it's getting overwhelmed by a problem or a number of problems. One thing that happens with a lot of people is you have a concern and you put it off. Like, you have an essay to write, and okay, I'll write it in sorry, a little tired is all, but I'll write my paper in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then it gets to that point and you don't get it done until even though you said you would get it done at least 2 weeks early, you end up getting it done like a day before the deadline. Notwithstanding that something can happen that prevents you from doing it on time, so to speak. But you see, that's not really an excuse, because you could have got it done ahead of time and basically put it off until indefinitely. And yeah, just you chose not to do it. Is what it comes down to. Or it's how the mind works. I'm not saying this is. You shouldn't feel ashamed of that, but you should get in the habit of doing things earlier, doing them quicker, and being able to apply yourself to the problems and solving them, handling them. And basically, the sooner you tackle a problem, the less it's going to be on your mind. Also, when you have something coming up, put it in a calendar. I would say always put something in a calendar. Here's why. If something's happening tomorrow, and you have to remember it for tomorrow. Now, I get it. It's tomorrow. How are you going to forget that? But that's not quite the point. The thing is that when tomorrow happens, your mind's going to be focusing on that. And it's going to create like a brain fog situation. And so the more things that are on our mind at a single time, the bigger a problem it can be. Because it's not necessarily that it's on the front of your mind, it's in the back of your mind. Like, you're worrying about this thing because in the back of your mind, being that you chose not to deal with it, or you had a time that you're going to deal with it, like in the future, or I'll deal with that when it comes up. When even if you're just seeing a friend, or you're gonna write an email, if that's something you're gonna do tomorrow, then your brain has to realize that, and is jumbling around all these things. Simplify your life, put something in a calendar, and take care of it that way. Now, to get a bit back on track with the emotional control stuff, obviously doing anything in your power you can to sort of know your situation and make it your domain, have control over it, is a great idea. And you want to have things automated enough, not that. Don't think you're doing things on autopilot. You're simplifying your life. I think in general, simplifying your life is a good idea. Don't spend a lot of time on social media. Go out and go on a walk, meditate, relax. Always make sure you get your exercise if you have the option of doing so. And making the routines every day, having a routine will make your life a lot easier. Because if you have a routine, then it means that your emotional systems will be more in balance, and your circadian rhythms, everything will go better because you're following that routine. Now, I'm not saying everything has to be the same every day, but just having a number of things that you will do every day according to sort of a routine or a schedule. But, suffice it that you wake up at 7 a.m. and you have breakfast. And, you enjoy your breakfast, and then you brush your teeth, you have your tea or your coffee, and, my chest hurts. But, you work out, you go reading, and you go out on a walk in the afternoon. So those are just a few things. I'm not saying you should have some extensive morning routine if you're not a morning person, and that's how you should start off with, but it should be maybe a goal or something to work on throughout your day, that you have a general idea of what you're doing, so that at least that way you don't have to worry about it. I mean, think of it that way. Even if it's not something that appeals to you as such, this is just a tool you can use where you don't have to think about something. You're doing it more like it's a good habit. It's habitual in a positive way that's going to help you rewire your brain, especially away from things like bad habits. Now, where this can really help is if you have a bad habit, like you eat junk food every day. Instead of that, eat, some nuts every day. Eat a salad every day, because salads taste great and they're really healthy for you. There's so many different kinds of salad. You could have a different kind of a salad every day of the month, because there's just that many salads, and with the right dressing. I mean, there are different combinations of dressing, so you can definitely enjoy that. But another example, like, instead of, if you watch TV every day, try reading the newspaper in the morning, and sticking to that schedule and enjoying that, reading the paper every day and getting your news, more relaxed form. There's actually more extensive news stories. You can read more about it. You're not having, your cortisol go up in the morning, because you're just learning about all this news that's stressing you out and, making you freak out about, like some country, getting mad at another country, something like that, or, what some leader is doing, or, food prices are going up. Whatever it is, just focus on having a bar of chocolate. No. But, so reading every day, the newspaper is a good way to get your news. And I think that it's a good way to build up your reading skills, and you get to choose what articles you read, so that's an advantage there. So, and go outside, get fresh air as much as you can, and basically regulate your nervous system. Sorry, noise, cat related to Lily, my cat here. But okay, well, I think I'm gonna probably wrap this up with the sounds in the background, but I was gonna finish off by saying, regulate your nervous system by going outside. And I'd say when you wake up every day, don't go in, because this is a great way to start off your day. I don't want to give you guys too much to think about, but wake up and don't look at your phone necessarily. Don't watch TV. Don't go on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. Basically whatever electronic thing you normally do, don't do that. And just enjoy waking up. Protect your mornings, as they say. I guess if I was to give one last tip, it would be, talk to a friend every day, even if it's sending a text message, but best of all, calling someone that you know and is your friend will really help to, make you feel calm and happy. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it. Have a great day. Peace.